This is my wife.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes.
Get that selfie.
So, where did we start?
What do you mean? Where do we start?
Like, where did we start the whole relationship? I guess just everything. How did it actually start our whole relationship?
Well, if we're being completely honest, it started off. We started off in an entanglement.
Who?
You.
No.
No, it was you.
We both were in
It
entanglements.
was
You were
him.
in an entanglement in New York, and I was in an entanglement in North Carolina. It's that simple.
Well, I guess it's story time.
Woo! Here we go. What is going on? My name is Dewanis.
And I'm Angel.
And we
We
are the Kings.
Kings.
Woo! High five. Break it down.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Too much.
Yeah, so, we wanted to make this video to kind of go over how we met and what happened and what caused us to get married and have a child and all of that stuff. So, yeah.
Worked out.
So I'll let you start.
So pretty much like we said before, we met during an entanglement. So many different perspectives saying entanglement, but
yeah.
Whatever, being real here, right? So we actually met during COVID of 2020.
Yep.
He called it the Great Depression.
That's what it was.
He said
I was depressed.
He's gonna tell. He said he's gonna tell our son that it was the Great Depression.
Yeah.
But it was really during COVID.
We had to ration food.
Yes.
We had to do all types.
We had to do a lot of stuff.
Mask
to survive.
on. It was crazy. COVID was a crazy time.
It was a crazy time.
So,
and some people went through a lot of horrible things, and it worked out for us.
Yeah.
I found my husband.
It did. I found my
wife. We found
wife.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. God blessed us. So pretty much, it was a long distance relationship. I was in New York. He was in North Carolina, and we had to keep traveling back and forth. It was, thank God, the airlines was very inexpensive during that time. Like, we found like $65 flights.
Wasn't that inexpensive? But...
Oh yeah, it wasn't that bad. Well, whatever. For me, it wasn't too bad. So yeah, we we were doing a lot of traveling back and forth to see each other, and it got to a point where we're like, what are we doing? Like, it's really hard for us to be apart. We really want to see how this thing works, and what God can really do for us in regards to building a relationship. So despite being far away, you only can imagine that we had our own situations in our different states.
Yes, we did have our own situations, and I guess I'll kind of hop into my situation. I was actually in an entanglement, as they say, with I wouldn't say she was a property manager, but
she wasn't a manager.
She was a leasing agent at my apartment that I had lived in, and it it went south when Angel actually came down and visited for the first time. Well, second time.
Yeah.
She came down and visited, and she actually came to a brunch with us. And this individual was actually there, and it didn't really go over too well. So,
well, let me pause him right there. He tried to say that this is his friend.
Now,
girls, we know if a guy is, had a situation with a girl or whatnot, we can tell, the way that she looks at him or he even looks at her. So, don't bring me. I didn't appreciate him bringing me. Okay, bring me to the brunch. Okay, I can act shady. I can kind of go with, the best of them, but don't make it seem like, oh yeah, we're friends.
We were friends.
Okay, they were friends.
But either way, it did not go well, and eventually they ended up bumping into each other on one of Angel's trips here to North Carolina, and she actually gave me an ultimatum after that situation. And pretty much she said, like, either you're going to be with her and whatever that's going to be. And it was actually nothing because the person didn't even want a relationship. So she was like, it's either going to be you and her or you and I. And I made the decision that I wanted it to be Angel and myself. And I invited her to Italy at the end of that year. That was 2021.
Yeah,
2021. I invited her to Italy. And I was like, hey, you should come with me to Italy. I think it'd be a great trip. Little did she know.
Wait. Before he invited me so keep in mind, he's inviting me to Italy, but at the same time, you haven't cut ties. And I must say that partially, I didn't necessarily completely cut ties with my situation in New York because
we almost missed that.
I didn't cut ties
Yeah.
because I was with somebody for 5 years, like off and on situationship, and it's like kind of like a soul tie, the same way how he had a soul tie. So I can't blame him
Yeah.
completely. I think that we had to realize that we had to let go of whatever, what we wanted, flesh wanted, and connect with what we needed. And what we needed, what
Great
God
way to
showed
say it.
us, was each other. We needed to heal each other's wound from our broken relationships and our broken desires. And
Yeah.
like you were saying, he did, invite me to go to Italy. And during that time I was very hesitant because I had by that time let go of my situationship in New York. But he seemed like he was still, trying to deal with his, which I get it. I mean, if you're living in a building and then you're also trying to get away from, like, it's at this point you just gotta move. So you just gotta
That's
move,
true.
and it was like if you don't move, then I don't know what we're supposed to do. So yeah, so you can proceed. He invited me to
Yeah.
Florence, which is my favorite city.
Woo! And I invited her to Florence, and little did she know, I don't know if she knew or not, but I had a big ring box in my in what in my jacket pocket, and I think she actually saw it. So I think I was just nervous, but she most likely saw it, and I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and go through with it. I proposed on Christmas Day, and the
Yeah,
rest is pretty much history.
yeah,
Yeah. So now, I guess current day, we got married last year, last May on the 28th,
yeah.
in Miami,
Yes,
Florida,
yes.
and now we have
Baby Maverick,
our son
Storm
Maverick.
King.
So if you hear little uh, sounds in the background, that is our
That's
little
him.
guy.
He's cooing. But we
Yeah,
overall we made this video to let you guys know that, there's supposed to be, like, I think the world fantasize how there's this fairy tale relationship and how
yeah,
things start and how it has this happy ending, and through social media things can seem like, oh, they didn't have any issues. But we started off where we were tied up into flesh and what we wanted, and not
yeah,
really connected in regards to what God wanted us to let
yep.
go, to be the best version of each other, to get best version of each other together.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
if you have any entanglements or any situationships that are not, really beneficial to you in
Get
your
out.
relationship, get
Get,
out.
yeah, get out of
Yeah,
them, and you never know who you'll get introduced to. You never know who God will put in place for you to. You just never know out here, and I just would say that give it an opportunity, give it a
absolutely.
chance, and you may end up married with children if you want
Yeah.
children.
You want children.
There's a lot of things that can happen, but just give it an opportunity. So,
Okay. Well,
yep,
this is our
that's
first
all we
video
got.
together. It was
Woo!
a good run,
That was
right?
hard.
Okay. Okay, well,
Well, thank
we'll
y'all
see you
for
next time.
tuning
Yep.
in, and see y'all next time.
Yep.
Kings out.
Kings out.
Woo. Good job, Doodle.